I never imagined that I would marry someone without love. Growing up, I believed that marriage should be full of passion, understanding, and deep connection. But life does not always follow our dreams. Sometimes, it follows responsibility. My name is Arsen, and this is the story of how I got married to a woman I barely knew. Our families arranged everything. They said she was kind, educated, and from a respectable family. I trusted my parents, so I agreed. I told myself that love could come later. On the day of the wedding, the hall was full of lights and smiling faces. Everyone looked happy except me. I felt calm on the outside, but inside, I was confused. I kept asking myself, is this the right decision? When I first saw my wife, Sarah, she looked nervous, just like me. Our eyes met for a second, but we quickly looked away. The first few weeks of marriage were awkward. We spoke politely but carefully, like strangers sharing the same house. There was no laughter, no deep conversations, only silence and responsibility. I focused on my work, and she focused on managing the home. At night, I would lie awake and think about the life I had imagined. I wondered if I had made a mistake. But I also knew that marriage was not a game. It was a promise. I decided that even if love was missing, respect would always remain. Little did I know that sometimes, love grows quietly in the most unexpected places. Living together slowly revealed the small details about Sarah. She woke up early every morning to prepare breakfast for me. She never complained, even when I came home late from work. She spoke softly and treated my parents with deep respect. One evening, I returned home tired and frustrated after a difficult day at the office. I barely greeted her, and went straight to my room. A few minutes later, she knocked gently and brought me a cup of tea. She did not ask questions. She simply said, "You look tired. Please rest." That small moment touched my heart. No one had noticed my stress so quietly before. I began to observe her more carefully. I noticed how she smiled when my mother praised her cooking. I noticed how she tried to learn my favorite dishes. She was trying, even if I was not. Slowly, our conversations became longer. We started sharing small stories about our childhood. We laughed at simple jokes. The silence between us began to feel comfortable instead of awkward. One night, during a power outage, we sat in candlelight and talked for hours. For the first time, I saw her not as a responsibility, but as a person with dreams and fears. She admitted that she had also been afraid of this marriage. She had also married without love. In that soft candlelight, something changed inside me. Maybe love does not always arrive before marriage. Maybe sometimes, it is built day by day. Months passed, and our relationship grew stronger. Love did not appear suddenly like in movies. It grew slowly, like a plant that needs patience and care. I started looking forward to coming home. Her presence brought peace to my heart. One day, I fell seriously ill. I had a high fever and could not even stand properly. Sarah stayed beside me the entire night. She placed a cold cloth on my forehead and checked my temperature again and again. She barely slept. When I woke up in the morning, I saw dark circles under her eyes. She looked exhausted, but she smiled and asked, "Are you feeling better?" At that moment, I realized something important. No one had ever cared for me with such sincerity. I held her hand and thanked her. She seemed surprised. Perhaps she was not used to hearing appreciation from me. That day, I understood that love is not only about romantic words. It is about actions, sacrifice, and silent support. From that moment, I made a decision. I would no longer treat this marriage as an obligation. I would treat it as a partnership. I began helping her at home. I listened more carefully when she spoke. I respected her feelings. And slowly, without realizing it, I fell in love with my own wife. Years later, when I look back at our wedding day, I smile. I remember how unsure and distant we were. Today, that distance feels impossible. Sa'a is not just my wife, she is my closest friend. We have faced many challenges together, financial problems, family pressures, and personal fears. But every difficulty brought us closer. We learned to communicate openly. We learned to forgive quickly. Most importantly, we learned to choose each other every single day. One evening, as we sat on the balcony watching the sunset, I finally told her, I did not love you when we got married. But today, I cannot imagine my life without you. Tears filled her eyes, but she smiled. She said she had waited a long time to hear those words. I married without love, but I discovered something more powerful. I discovered that real love is not always about strong emotions at the beginning. It is about commitment, patience, and kindness. If you are in a relationship that feels difficult or distant, do not lose hope. Sometimes, love needs time to grow. Plus, if this emotional story touched your heart and helped you learn English, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories.